We bring in the head basketball coach of the BYU Cougars, Dave Rose. Coach, welcome to our new set.
Morning, guys.
Welcome to Monday of tournament week. We saw a huge smile on your face. Just saw a smile grace your face right there. Can you take us through the emotions and what you were feeling as it was announced you were in the tournament?
Well, you know, it probably goes back to Vegas, you know, on Wednesday morning when you know, we're leaving Vegas and coming back to Provo and trying to deal with what's next and what's going to happen. And you know, we got home on you know, Wednesday afternoon and got in the office and just started looking at things I don't really ever look at. I just started looking at RPIs and nitty-gritties and all kinds of forms that are available to the general public that I really didn't have
Welcome.
An idea of that. And then I started looking at championship week brackets and tournaments around and just see how this thing could all feel. And I realized that going home Wednesday night that, you know, that we really had a chance to get into the tournament depending on how everybody else played. And that's a really kind of an awkward feeling. You know, we're going to practice on Thursday, or practice on Friday, and Saturday. We gave them Thursday off to kind of get their academic situation back in some type of a manageable situation. But then really watching what's going on. Thursday was a good day, and I said this yesterday. You know, Friday turned out to be an even better day, and then Saturday was you know, great day.
Yeah.
And a lot of those teams that were trying to play their way in to that tournament were getting beat, and so kind of felt like we had a pretty good chance to get into the tournament. And you know, it just kept kind of two things kept, you know, always being discussed, always being talked about. The bad losses, in everybody's opinion, and I have a really hard time with that because every loss is a bad loss.
Sure.
Why would you just take a couple of those things and want to single them out? But and then our strength of schedule, non-conference strength of schedule, you know, being a 2, a 3, a 4, depending on, you know, the system. But it's everybody had it as a top 5.
Yeah.
And so you just hope that kind of outweighs, you know, some of the other people's opinions of other things, and then you hear it so much that you think we're going to be one of the last 4 in, and we're going to have a Dayton game, and I think that's what the reaction of our guys was. Is that not so much that we're in the tournament, but I think the reaction was we're going to get a couple of days to practice and prepare for this for our game. So
that's the most excited I've ever seen anyone about wanting to practice then in my entire life.
Yeah, I mean, but the turnaround when we played Iona, so difficult. You know, we got right on the plane Monday morning. We flew out there, and we got a few minutes on the court Monday afternoon. And that was the year that President Obama wanted to watch a college game, and he messed up everying on the game day.
Right.
And then he left. He didn't even see the end.
We couldn't get into the facility on game day. We had to go. We went to a community college in the city to do our game day shoot around, and got off to a horrible start, and ended up Noah had an unbelievable second half, and we ended up winning that game. But those were all the things that were kind of dancing through our head: is how we're going to manage the next couple days, and then we, you know, kind of got a reprieve where it gave us a little more time.
BYU head coach Dave Rose is on BYU Sports Nation with us right now. Your son Garrett is filming the reaction last night as you're all watching this together.
In your house, your home theater, which we're still waiting for an invite to watch, like The Dark Knight Rises or something with you.
Yeah.
And I watched it 10 times in a row. It's that enjoyable. It's that fun. But when you're enjoying that with your team and you're seeing them jump around and go crazy in your house, that has to be one of the most euphoric moments you've ever had as a coach, I'm guessing.
Those are great times that you can have with your team, and you know, nothing against the media, okay, because the media has a real role to play in all of this, okay, and I'm so happy that we have the coverage that we have the interest that we have. But there's something really special about the guys just being able to be the guys, and And this was kind of a nerve-wracking thing. Sunday is a real issue. At BYU, it would be way better if it was selection Saturday, or
Sure.
if it was selection Monday, it would be way better. So we just decided this time we just had them at our house. That we had dinner, and the guys had all. It was great weather, so they're in the backyard. We have a TV in the back, and the guys were playing ping pong, and everything was just having a really enjoyable, relaxing day, but everybody being really uptight. And then we got them into theater, and it played out the way it did. And I think that that reaction is just pure happiness, joy, whatever you want to call it. A lot of hard work, and those guys were able to respond to it exactly how they felt, which I was really happy for. And
it was fun. It was really fun to watch. And thanks to your brother, or your son Garrett, for taping that. What was more surprising to you, that you got a 10 seed or that you have a rematch with Oregon?
Probably the rematch with Oregon, because I think I mentioned this before. I got, with the help of a couple of my assistants, got 7 or 8 teams sheets and put them out there. And if you take the names off the sheets and just look at the numbers were pretty good for us compared to the other teams.
Yes,
okay? Now everybody can have their own opinion on, if our team's any good, or if Missouri's any good, or if Arkansas is any good, or if North Carolina State, or all those, Iowa, SMU. You can go through all that, your opinion of which team you think is better. But you look at the numbers, and the numbers spoke pretty clearly to an 11th or 10 or 11 seed. And very interesting to me, I had 2 or 3 people send me a YouTube clip of Digger Phelps.
Jay Williams.
You saw
the blind resume. BYU sticks out hard.
Yeah, and the numbers are pure.
Yes.
And there's no question it's the third team. That third team, whoever that is, and Digger's on, and Jay's on.
And then it flips, and
then as soon as they flash the names, whoa, everything changed. So that was the issue that we were kind of dealing with. And so not as surprised about the 10 seed as I was about the rematch.
Not only are you in, but you're way in. Like you're not one of the Final Four, and I agree with you. The media certainly has an impact on the way that we view that. And you listen to Joe Lunardi, the lead bracketologist at ESPN, and he had you as the 8th or 9th, the last team in. And then after the Kyle injury, you kind of all of a sudden were like right on the cut line. Well, the committee said it's not about the injuries; it's about the body of work. And so, did you feel at least a measure of validation when you got the 10 seed?
Well, the best thing was that the work that we did in November and December, when you're sitting around and you're preparing for really tough teams, and your scouting reports are really detailed, and your guys are grinding it, and other teams are just winning games by 20 or 30, and the schedule, and you're wondering, my goodness, is this really worth what we're going through? Well, yes, it is, and that's how it turned out, and that's probably the best part of as far as validation is concerned, is the fact that the hard work that the guys went through actually got paid off. And you know what? A lot of it is the fact that those teams had great years. When we beat Texas, that was such a great win for us, euphoric. The guys were, because we beat Texas. We didn't know how good Texas was going to be, but they went on and had a terrific year, and that really helped us. When we beat Stanford, same thing. I mean, our guys were so the locker rooms after those wins are similar to the experience that you saw in our theater last night. The guys just get to be themselves and celebrate a win, and they got to celebrate a really big win yesterday.
Dave Rose, BYU basketball head coach, is on BYU Sports Nation. With this model and the selection committee looking at strength of schedule, is this something that you want to do going forward? Because whether you like it or not, next year is the same way.
And it's really, our schedule next year is really tough. Yeah. And we've got a couple openings still, and we'll really monitor how we finished our schedule. Just like the last 2 games we got on our schedule this past year were Massachusetts, UMass, and Stanford. Both of them on the road. We were really hoping that we could get both of them at home, but maybe start one at home and one on the road. But when it really came to it, we kind of bit the bullet and said, we'll start both of these on the road. We got one of them. But again, the UMass game helped us. We played well. We didn't win the game, but they had a terrific season, and it helped with our RPI. And so we'll be really careful how we finish this schedule. But we have just, right off the top, we're in the Maui tournament. We have Utah coming back. We have UMass coming back, and we have Stanford coming to the Marriott Center. So we've got a pretty good start to a pretty and we go to Utah State, in that series, and so we've got a pretty good start to a very difficult November and December again.
Dave Rose, BYU head basketball coach on BYU Sports Nation, the day after the Cougars are awarded an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament as a 10 seed. We played a soundbite before you got here, Coach, of you back on Media Day, talking about, look, we set up the schedule so that we could play in the NCAA tournament. Clearly, you had an idea of what the committee likes, and the numbers shaped out that way. How long did it take you to figure out exactly what it was to do to get into the NCAA tournament as an at-large with the scheduling?
Well, it's still way more of an art than it is a science, because so much depends on what the other teams do that you schedule. And I think a real big factor in this particular invitation is the strength of the WCC. I mean, we had so many more top 100 teams in the WCC than we have the last couple of years. And the wins over San Francisco, the wins over St. Mary's, the win over Gonzaga, those were number-wise, significant in kind of building your resume. So, as much as competitive as this league is, and as much as you want to be able to, be superior in your league, this year it was, we were really fortunate that there were some really good teams in the league, and I think it'll continue to get that way. Continue that way, because there were so many good young players in our league. I mean, Pepperdine's got a couple of great freshmen, and USF didn't. They didn't start a senior, and so this league is. Yeah. And we're going to see the guards from Gonzaga back again. It's just David Stockton's leaving, but Gary Bell and Pangos have been guys that probably we think they have been there as long as people think that Tyler Haas has been here for us.
7 years.
Yeah. So,
Not to mention the Brownridge kid at Santa Clara,
absolutely.
too.
Yeah, there's some terrific young players. You look at the all-freshman team, and it's pretty impressive.
Former Dixie outfielder Dave Rose is on BYU Sports Nation. Right. What position were you in the outfield?
Well, I pride myself as a center fielder, but I played a lot of right field because I always came late after basketball season was over. And they always stick the guy in right field. But one of my favorite things as a right fielder was on hard hit line drives, short. I always try to pride myself in throwing a guy out at first.
Yeah, self-weeg it.
Yeah, so if I could do that once in a while, then I had a chance to maybe move into center field. I played way more center field, but I do remember those first couple days after basketball, going out for baseball and playing, and you got your arm hanging, and it's really sore. It's numb, And one of my real claims of fame is that there's a base hit up the middle, and there's a guy on first, and he's trying to get to third, and there's no way I'm going to let him get to third, And so I feel the hit and line that thing to third base, and it went right over the third baseman's head. My third baseman didn't even attempt. The ball was so far over. And we were playing BYU JV, ironically, and I put a huge dent in the van of the the BYU van that brought the boys down. It was just in the parking lot. So
well, I was going to offer you a spot on our BYU Broadcasting intramural team, but I'm not sure after that story.
But you think my arm was hanging back then. It's hanging now.
You think this guy's competitive? I love it. Dave Rose, the head basketball coach at BYU on BYU Sports Nation. Let's talk a little bit about Oregon, the rematch. The Ducks are an interesting team. You're obviously trying to replace Kyle Collinsworth with a number of players, with Skylar and Frank, and different rotations. What's your initial take on matching up with the Ducks again?
Well, this is a great offensive team. They have just unbelievable individual playmakers, and I think Jonathan Lloyd is the whole key to their team. And when Artis came back, and is a great talent, great point guard, they try to move him into that spot. And for the other pieces, Jonathan's better, and doesn't mean he's a better point guard. It doesn't mean he's a better player. But when they put Jonathan back in the starting lineup and started giving him the freedom to distribute the ball and get guys open, it's really taken a turn for the Ducks as far as their success is concerned. But the interesting thing is, even when they were in that slump, they weren't getting blown out. I mean, those games were all close. And they went to Arizona, played them close, went to Arizona State, got down big, and then, you know, lost it right at the end. And so this is a real challenge, and our guys are going to really have to be up for it.
Well, before we finish with you, we'd like you to sign our flag. It's a new. Now that we're on TV, we have to sign a flag before we go, if that's all right. And then the other thing is, this is St. Patrick's Day only, Coach. The shirt, the screen shirt.
Oh yeah.
Not Oregon. It's St. Patrick's Day only. Just want to make sure you understand that.
All right, I understand.
It's all about BYU Blue. Dave Rose, head basketball coach of the Cougars, here with us on BYU Sports Nation. Great insight. Congratulations, Coach.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Good luck in Milwaukee.
Okay, thank you.